good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you're doing well. Today I'm just outside of Woodstock, Georgia, and this is the hotel that I stayed in. It was a great hotel, super comfortable. But as I was trying to rest and relax, a couple of things came to me. So we're in the middle of this series called Exhale, and part 1, part 2, part 3. I think this is part 5. Yeah. So part 4, I was in a very, very peaceful location, and then today, you can probably hear this, but I was in this hotel last night and I was thinking, what does rest look like? Because I want to talk about Sabbath today. And I'm in this hotel, and it was a super comfortable hotel. The bed was great. I was like, this is great. But then I closed my eyes to go to sleep, and I heard in the background, in the distance, motors and cars traveling fast. And I looked out the window and I said, because I came to this hotel this way, not this way. And on this side, there's a very busy highway. And I said to myself, it's so hard for us to stop for a minute and experience silence and solitude and Sabbath, because our world doesn't slow down. And this is a place that's designed, right? Like, at the end of the day, you come to a hotel and you're supposed to walk through the doors, and it's designed, I think it's even put into their advertising, that it's a place where you can get a good night's sleep, relax, restore, and just chill for a minute. And I said, yeah, it almost got there. Almost. Like, we almost got to that place of rest and relaxation, but not quite there. So today I want to talk a little bit about Sabbath, but let's just review for a minute what happened over the last couple of weeks, okay? So last week we spoke about part of this Exhale series. Actually, let's go back to the first week, okay? So the first week we were talking about shutting off our phones. Okay, so how are you doing with that? We're 3 weeks in, 30 minutes a day. How's it going with shutting off your phones? Then the next week we spoke about stopping at stop signs. Literally stopping at a stop sign. And stopping our lives and training ourselves to stop beyond to develop the habit of stopping. And then last week we started talking about simplicity, and what does simplicity look like in your life? How do you get rid of the chaos of clutter in your life, and what does that look like, right? Very, very sensitive subject, hard subject, something to really kind of dive into and dig into. And then this week I wanted to chat a little bit about Sabbath. And this continues kind of this series of how do we continue this destruction of distraction in our lives, and what does it look like, and how do we get there? And so I was driving yesterday listening to a little bit about what Sabbath means and how Sabbath works. And I was thinking about Sabbath as Sabbath. What does that mean? Okay, so many of us don't practice Sabbath because we just can't stop and slow down and let God in to all that we're needing, I guess is the right way to say it. And one of the things that was brought up yesterday in this book that I was listening to was Sabbath. It means to literally stop. And when you think about Sabbath, how do you stop in your life? And one of the quotes that I found was, well, it wasn't even a quote, it was just kind of a comment But it was like, in order for Sabbath to be effective, you have to change the other 6 days of the week. And I found that interesting because I was like, okay, I guess that means that you can't run for 6 days and then expect the 7th day to literally stop and let your body stop, right? Like, it's a really hard thing to experience what that means and what Sabbath means if you're going and then expect it to literally, boom, 24 hours, that's it, we're done. So I thought that was an interesting comment and an interesting way to approach Sabbath, right? So in order for Sabbath to be effective and to work, you actually have to change the other 6 days of your life. You know, this goes all the way back to the beginning of the Bible. Go read Genesis 1. Don't even read the whole chapter. Like, just go read the first, section or so. And what did Sabbath look like to God, right? I mean, God takes a minute to stop after he creates the world in 6 days. And yet we don't. Think about that for a minute. God takes 6 days to work and 6 days to build something that we could never even begin to imagine to build. And yet at the end of the 6 days, he stops. And you could say, oh yeah, he's God. I'm not, I have this and that and the other thing. No, God stopped. God stopped. And that is kind of an incredible, incredible thought. The creator of the universe, the creator of you, the creator of me, he stopped to rest. And yet we live these lives where we're just like, we're too busy to stop. We don't want to stop. I mean, what's the deal with that? I'm thinking about it right now and I'm just like, you know what? That is like a valid point. God stopped, and yet we don't. So maybe that's where to begin and end today. Then I was listening to another podcast this morning, and I was talking about love, and about how love, you have to make sacrifices in order to love. And love actually means saying no, right? Love is a series of saying no so that you can make the love work. You have to say no to something else in order to build a relationship, in order to love someone, to create, a relationship in your life. You have to say no. And as we think about Sabbath, we are going to have to say no. If we are going to love ourselves, love our bodies, right? Love the life that we're living, we have to say no to something else. So maybe today, think about what your no is going to be. And that's hard because there's so many things we want to say yes to. But I realized this a couple of years ago. I got into this habit of actually saying no to some of the shows that were coming my way. And whether it be because they were too far or just weren't the right fit for what I'm doing, but I started to say no, and I really was amazed at how freeing it was to say no. And I just want to introduce the idea today of no. Okay? Because in order for Sabbath to work, we have to say no. We have to realize that no has to be part of our vocabulary. And as I was driving, so I drove up from Alabama to here today. It was about a 5-hour ride from wherever I was in Alabama yesterday to this part of Georgia. And I was thinking about okay, Sabbath, yes, God commands it. On the 7th day, you rest. So I was trying to think of, okay, in the lifestyle and the busyness that we live and lead, what can we do to practice Sabbath, or to begin to practice Sabbath? And I was like, taking a day off, that's really going to be a stretch for me and for a lot of people that we're in community with. So I said, okay, maybe we start with just 2 hours of Sabbath, right? So again, these come out on Saturdays. And maybe, and I'm sighing a lot in this one because I know that this is a hard topic. But maybe today you take 2 hours. And what that means is turning off your phone, turning off your computer, and just breathing in and soaking in the presence of God, the goodness of God, the love of God, the mercy, the grace, the compassion, the hope of our Father, right? What's going on behind me? Okay. And part of me was like, okay, 2 hours, yeah, I think we can get there. So I'm actually going to try this. I'm really going to try and make a concerted effort to go for this and really just make this happen. Will you? That's the question today. So we're talking about Sabbath, talking about exhaling, talking about slowing down, and we're talking about being disciples of Jesus, right? Jesus, once again, I will repeat this, he went off to quiet places to pray and spend time with his Father. He had to do it. He had to do it. There was no way around it. So why don't we? Why don't we feel like we need to stop the way that he did? So the challenge for this week is to exhale, is to take Sabbath, enjoy Sabbath. What does Sabbath look like? It means literally stopping, shutting off your phone, shutting off your computer, and taking a minute to just spend some time with God. Today, this week, we're going to practice 2 hours. We're going to try 2 hours of it, okay? That doesn't mean you have to sit there and pray for 2 hours, but just let your soul rest, right? Let your soul just absorb all the goodness that God has, and get away from something like what's going on just beyond these trees. I'll show you this. So right behind me, that's where this crazy highway is. And to come back full circle to what I was talking about at the beginning of this video, it's like we need these places where we can get away from the busyness, the craziness, the chaos of life, the chaos of clutter, and let God in. So it's hard. I get it. I'm just thinking about what it means this week. Exhale. Let God in. Find the places where you can just let God in to it all. All right? It's hard. I know it's going to be hard. And continue the other practices as well. Stop at stop signs. Turn your phone off for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. In this case, we're actually looking to turn our phone off for 2 hours. Yeah. Let God into that time, into that space. He so desperately wants to be with us. He so desperately wants to speak to us. Just let God be still. Just let us be still and know that he is God. There's a lot in it. All right, so that's the challenge for this week. 2 hours, one day, 2 hours, Sabbath. Okay? Maybe it's reading a book that focuses on the goodness of God. Maybe it's spending time with family that you haven't seen in a while. Maybe it's literally just taking a hike in the woods. There's all these things that we can Sabbath so we can commune and spend time with God. All right, so that's what we're going to do. Okay? 2 hours this week. Let's work on it. And we may be here next Saturday and we might just be like, that just didn't work. But let's go into this positively. Alrighty, so may the God of rest and the God of peace And the God of hope and the God of grace fill your week this week. Amen. Amen, guys. As you can see, I'm in a little bit of an RV. I think this is an RV park. I don't know what this is, but it just happened to be the right place that actually worked for this. So, sponsored by the RV park here in Georgia. I don't know what city I'm in, but anyway. All right. So, if you want to join us, join our community, head over to joindavesband.com. We'd love to have you with us. We've got over 750 written devotions organized by studies. We've got 100 video devotions, much like the one you're watching right now. We've got a community of amazing people seeking Jesus every day. And we do weekly Bible studies, and there's exclusive music there. We've got 15 albums of music in there. And there's just a ton of stuff that we'd love for you to get involved with. All right. Looking forward to seeing you there and spending some time with you in there too. All right. Enjoy the day. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your Sabbath. We'll see you over at joindavesband.com. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.